Hello, hello. This is Patty Joe. I'm going to try a brand new format. We're just going to look at some things and really talk about them because I want to get away from just watching videos and doing a little bit of commenting and really get into what I think about things. And we're going to start this process with the another story that's been coming up again. It's really a very old crime. And it goes back way further than the crime that um, is in the newest documentary style series that's going on the Daily Wire, uh, and that is the Stephen Avery case. And what I would like to do is just do a really short introduction going way back. Now, there's kind of competing docu-series about this. One was on Netflix called Making a Murderer, and one is on the Daily Wire called Convicting a Murderer. And we're gonna kind of compare and contrast a little bit. Making a Murderer's first uh, episode, we'll call it, was called 18 Years Lost. And the first episode of the other one is called An Unraveling Narrative. So we can see that these competing docu-series is are really, really, kind of shadowing or reflecting what has happened on some of the other social media outlets like uh, what is it called? Reddit, things like that. Things I don't know very much about, to be honest with you. I think we all know that I'm a little bit of a beginner at this. So, my friend who lives in Wisconsin told me, don't watch Making a Murderer first because it slants towards the defense. I don't think he appreciated how cynical I can actually be. Because I will say that Making a Murderer did not convince me that he was not guilty. Did not convince me that there wasn't some shade going on there, but it did not convince me that they were uh, wrong. But let's go through everything. Let's go through everything that we can find. So we'll start this really slowly. And first, I'm going to say that when you're convicted of a crime early in your adulthood, it is likely that you've been doing things as a juvenile. Okay, very likely, as a matter of fact. And I can say that through some experience. But at 18, we've all decided that we kind of get a fresh start. That permanent record goes away, we get a fresh start. And so if you've got another conviction coming up at your 18 to 20, you're probably doing things. And what they're convicting you of is A, what they can prove, and B, what they can get you to plead to so that they can clear their docket. That's just the truth. They want to make sure you're not going to do these things again. If they think they are, they're going to try to get you to plead to something that they'll give you some jail time so that you can cool your heels a little bit. This is the case with Stephen Avery. He was convicted of burglary charges, cruelty to animal charges. So he was doing things through his teenage years, through his early adulthood that he should have known better. Even with watching the first docuseries on Netflix, I could get a sense of the dysfunction in the family. Probably not so good at maybe, and trying to be kind and generous because there's no real proof in it. It was just my opinion that they were probably a little dysfunctional when it came to uh, teaching them how to behave, both in society and sexually, quite frankly, from some of the things that have come out later with, what's on their computers and what they find pleasurable to uh, look at in their personal time. They're probably not, some of the things that happened between the wife of Stephen Avery while he was in prison and the brother and while he was in prison, just not not so, not so nice. Not really what most of us will say is within what we would call our social construct. Should have probably been kept behind closed doors. Okay, so he was probably committing other crimes. We could probably dig deep and see that the burglary was probably coupled with a couple of other crimes, burglaries. Um, he was, um, even though there aren't too many uh, convictions for things that are violent to people, I think there was some evidence that there was some violence towards people. Number one, the cousin, they make her out to be a very negative person, and probably she did go out to the bars and drink and talk about him. But people talk about me all the time. If I had a nickel, I wouldn't have to try to be making money at all. I would be a rich woman. But some of these things just are not my business. He tried to make it his business, very controlling. What they convicted him of and gave him 6 years for this assault on this woman, um, probably dumbed down a bit exactly what happened, which is usually the case. But they wanted to make sure he was guilty of a felony in that case. So that is the case between he and his cousin, where he runs her off the road, takes a weapon, tells her to get into his car. She convinces him to let her go because she's got a child in the car. I don't know, if he has some spark of humanity in him that just, told him whatever his plan wasn't going to happen because of this, or maybe he just felt that the little child was going to be a witness. There's the cousin right there. I just think we give her a bad, you know, way to go, and we really kind of make him out to be some sort of victim in the whole thing, and he's not really a victim. Where he is a victim in the first episode of this and the other one is he was wrongly convicted of the assault, the brutal assault. And I'm not going to go into that because I just think this poor woman has lived her life, and this keeps coming up for her. And I just think he wasn't the person who did it. The lineup, you know, and maybe I'll do a second video kind of on sort of what I think. Here's the real person who did it. Do they look kind of similar? Yeah, but not similar enough. And I think this guy was in their crosshairs, the police's crosshairs too, of exactly what was going on. So, I just, anyway, that's where he was the victim. He spends 18 years, he gets out in 2003, and then we pick up where the whole thing just becomes a dumpster fire. So let's wrap it up there. We'll kind of revisit some of this, see how this works, if this doesn't work better with my resources. This is Patty Joe. Thank you for sticking with me. Love to hear your comments on this. Share, like, subscribe, whatever it is that you feel you want to do. And I thank you so much and have a great weekend.